So as I was trying to figure out a topic for this persuasive essay, I had a hard time. I tried to think of something that would be an important issue that we needed to cover, something that people could relate to, and that they would know what I'm talking about. While our instructions said not to pick something that was too controversial, I do have to admit that I ignored that suggestion. I chose to talk about a serious issue that is plaguing our society today: the disbelief of unicorns. In this speech, I will cover the history of unicorns, examples of unicorns, and the definition of reality. So let's start with the history of unicorns. Depictions of unicorns, or rather animals with one horn on their head, have been found dating back to the earliest of human history, all the way on cave drawings. We have accounts all over the world of unicorns, like in Asia, in the Bible, and especially in medieval Europe. All of these creatures were known by different names, however. In Webster's dictionary, in the 1812 edition, it stated a unicorn was an animal that had one horn. And over time, that definition changed to what we now know it as today, of this mythical horse-like creature. One of the earlier examples of unicorn is in China. There was a mythical creature that had one horn, and it was called Qilin. An emperor named Huang Ti had one day was walking around his palace, and he saw this Qilin, and he considered it a lucky omen. The years following this sighting, his country, he united China, or at least the tribes of China. He saw the creation of musical instruments, and he also bricks were created in his country so that people could build houses with them. And then it was said that the Qilin wasn't seen again until the end of the emperor's life, when the Qilin came and took him to the land of the dead. The next account that I'll talk about is the King James version of the Bible. Uses unicorn eight different times, or rather eight different scriptures. I'll just read the shortest one, which is in Numbers, and it's in chapter 23, and it's verse 22. In this chapter, Balaam is blessing blessing Israel, the person. And it says in Numbers 23, verse 22, God brought them out of Egypt as he hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. So it uses, while it uses the word unicorn in the King James version, this is widely argued about this translation. The word is actually reem, or reem, and it's mostly accepted among scholars as either a goat or usually a cattle. And in this case, this animal usually has two horns. So it's, a lot of people argue whether it really should be unicorn or cattle or whatever else they argue it should be. One of the greatest sources that we can turn to for any magical or mythical creatures, though, would be Harry Potter. Harry encounters unicorns a couple times. Most of them were dead, however. It was in the first book, and there was a centaur named Ferenzi who said only one who has nothing to lose and everything to gain would commit such a terrible crime. In this case, he's talking about the killing of a unicorn. The blood of a unicorn will keep you alive, even if you are an inch from death, but at a terrible price. You've slain something so pure and defenseless. To save yourself, you will have but a half-life, a cursed life, from the moment the blood touches your lips. So this kind of depiction of a unicorn comes from the medieval times, where unicorns were thought to be these truly pure animals that they ran really quickly. They were almost impossible to catch. The only time that a unicorn would come is if a unicorn would come to a virgin woman, just indicating pureness. And a lot of times when we look into, especially Christianity, the unicorns are symbolic of Christ. And so finally, we're going to talk about reality. Reality is anything is well, it's reality is up to a philosophical debate. We can talk about the reality of protons, that even though we can't see them, we know they exist. Aliens, although probable, we don't have any proof either. It makes sense that there are other beings in this universe besides us. The universe we know is immense and continues to grow. So it would make sense that there are other people at a higher power of thinking as well. It is my suggestion, though, that reality is what we believe to be true. Unicorns may or may not have special powers that they are suggested to have from the legends and myths that we hear about, but I think it would be a travesty to say that unicorns do not exist because of these myths. It is up to reality is what we choose to believe, not what is dictated by tangible or proof.